Welcome card readers, April here on Tarot and Witchery, and today I thought I would share with you my favorite go-to reading, and this is actually a modified Celtic cross. This is my own version of the Celtic cross. I don't have this on my learning library, but I do have other spreads and ideas on my learning library, and that is free, and there's a lot of printables on there, so if you want those, you can click the link down below. So if you want to write this down, you can take notes. The first part of this video, I'm going to just show you how I lay out the cards, like the positions. And then after that, I'm going to just read the cards as kind of a mock reading to show you how I use some of the positions together to sort of draw it together. Okay, so again, the first thing I start out with is card number one, you know, where I'm at right now. Pretty simple. Next is like, what am I coming out of? Oh God, that's so dead on. Next is, where am I headed? Like what's next? What's happening next? What's emerging as a result of this path that I am on? The subconscious, what lies beneath right now? Right? What lies beneath? What subconsciously? I'm going to kind of try to put this together because this is a kind of a big reading. What is conscious? What do I know right now? What is this kind of obvious to me? What do I already know about the situation that I'm in? Okay, at this point, I'm going to draw an overshadow card and put it sideways. Ooh, look at that. What's overshadowing me right now? I'm going to put that over here to the side like this, and I'll talk about how I read that later. But this is what's overshadowing my life right now. Some people would have called that the cross card, but I will show you how I read with that. Next, I do the stairs. I do not do a ladder, I do stairs because I feel that these cards are ideas, principles that build one on another. We step from one step to the next. We have one foot on this step until we come up. Often we are kind of like, you know how steps work. So one foot on here, then one foot there. Then once we've gotten this, we move on. And once we get this, we move on. So these are my stairs. At the bottom, I have my hopes and fears card. Ooh, interesting. That's so true. Next, I have outside influences. This is like what is coming from the outside. Could be people. In this case, it is a person. I'm seeing it that way. Then I have my obstacle. I always put my obstacle card face down. I never put my obstacle card face up, and that's because I do not want this to influence how I am reading things at all. And then this is the best possible outcome for what's going on with me right now. And I kind of had to scrunch a little bit because of, let's go like this, because of the width of my screen here. So best possible outcome there. The Emperor, that's really nice. Now, I'll tell you, I almost always do one other card from an oracle deck. Could be a tarot deck. In this case, I'm using the Wild Woman Oracle. Gosh, who's this by? This is so hard to read on here. I don't know why she did it so hard to read, but it's Cheyenne Zarate. And this is one of my favorite oracle decks right now. I've been using it since it came out, and I absolutely love it. And I will choose this card as what I call a power card. This is what I need to integrate right now in order to be living this the best way possible. And I'm going to put that face down because I want it to sink in with the rest of the reading after I'm done. And again, I don't want it to influence my thinking about any of these cards. All right, if you made it this far, please leave me 3 stars down below and tell me how you do your Celtic cross differently or what you think about this. And now I'm going to jump right on into the reading itself. Just so you know, this is the Everyday Witch Tarot, and again, this is the Wild Woman Oracle. You guys, please don't ask me what decks I used in the video because I have to go back and watch the video to know. So just please listen because I can't go back. I have so many of you ask me, can you just tell me the name of that deck? And I just never make it back. I have so many things going on. All right, but I love you guys. I love you. Okay, so. Again, where am I at right now? I'm at a 7 of Pentacles. This is so dead on for me because I am in a place where I know that I've planted a lot in my life, but I'm a bit in a holding pattern And I know that. I know that I'm in a holding pattern. I just want to say this to anybody out there. If you're in a place where you're feeling held, like you're not moving forward, a holding pattern is a good place to be. It really allows us to gather ourselves. It allows us to, at this point, you're weeding the ground. You're not harvesting anything. You're not at that point. You're simply tending what you already have. And it really allows you to figure out where you are in your life, what needs to be tended. And there's not anything that you need to do in order to move forward. That's really important to be present with what you have right now. And that's definitely where I'm at. I'm really taking stock at where I'm at, but it feels good. This is actually, I think for me, a feel-good card when it comes up because it's about this lush garden. What am I coming out of? I have the Chariot here, and I definitely was at a place, what I would call a fork in the river in my life. And I really needed to choose a direction that I wanted to go. And I have done that. That's my immediate past. And now I am gathering resources at the moment in order to sit with this decision that I've made and really allow myself to gather myself so that I can embody the decision that I've made before I move forward into this wonderful Magician card. I love the Magician. I love ones because ones go into everything. Every number is divisible by 1. And so putting forth our magic, creating from a place of I am it's a wonderful, exciting place to be. And I know that's what I'm headed into. Fork in the road, make a decision. I've made a decision. I'm sitting with that decision. I'm gathering myself so that will be ready to release my magic in this coming season. That is just so dead on. And then what lies beneath? 10 of Swords. This is so completely dead on for me, you guys. It is, something is coming to an end. And whenever we make a choice to do something, to go one route, we do choose to go away from something else. The best way to stop doing something is to go towards what you really want to be doing. If you're struggling with addiction, which isn't my case, but if you're struggling with addiction or something that you're just having trouble getting away from, a bad toxic relationship, whatever it is, go towards what is good. Fix your eye on the horizon towards what is good and head that way. It's really going to help you to move that way without creating resistance. It's not about pushing away from, it's about going to. And so 10 of Swords, something is ending for me. But, you can see here that she's blindfolded and hitting the bullseye. This is a great 10 of Swords. What do I know? 6 of Wands. I feel like it's a time where I am recognizing my own victories, how I have vanquished aspects of myself. And it's a time where I am really celebrating who I am and what I love about myself and what I do right and good. And by doing that, it's really helping me to gather my energies. We have this crossing energy. I got the Tower. And the way that I use this card in the spread is it's like a lens. So this is like a pair of colored glasses that you put on that then changes the coloring of the card. So with the Tower, you can see here, that's a powerful spell that she has cast that has destroyed. This is outside influences coming in and making very clear that something is gone. Something is rubble, something is over. Right here, let's just look at this in light of the Chariot. How does this overshadow? It was definitely a time of external pressures for me that were making me think, I really need to make a decision about this. I really, really need to commit to the way in which I want to go. And it just really became obvious. There was so much uncomfortable, and there was something that felt like a pile of rubble. Even here in the middle of this, how am I sitting? I'm gathering myself right now. I'm gathering how I'm feeling. And when we overshadow it with the Tower, it's a part of this time of me realizing what is over, what has passed away, and not holding on to that. So I would use this all the way throughout this spread. Even this is going to be the impetus of my moving forward and creating something new, because something has ended. So again, this is like a lens that overshadows every single card in here. Now, by the time I get up here, this is a distant memory. My outcome, this is maybe even down here, the road that led me to the stairs that I climb to my best outcome. Hopes and fears card. The hopes and fears card, our greatest hope is also our greatest fear. And so it can be something within us that we look at and we say, I really want that, but I'm also really afraid of what that means for me. And whenever we step into our personal power, it's a little bit scary. So my hopes and fears card is the 7 of Wands. And I think it's Chris Ann who in this one here, I think she puts this as the haters gonna hate card. That, you know, here there's something that's feels like it's coming against, and there's a need to stand your own ground and stand in your own place. And I definitely feel like that. I really want to stand in my own power, but I am a little bit afraid of what people will think about that, what will happen, what all of these people who are pointing this wand will do, say, if I choose to stand up and stand in my own power and believe in what I'm doing and what makes me special and creative. Outside influences. So again, these are steps. So as I move into embodying that and I face my hopes and fears and I really reconcile myself to that, then I move up and I'm able to look at this outside influences. So you might think of this as it could be, you might recognize this like, oh, this is my job. Oh, this is a person. This is just kind of the climate in my life right now, like what lesson I seem to be learning, but it's the outside influences. So this is not something that's internally going on in me. King of Wands. I think this is my husband, honestly. Not a card that I would normally pick for him. Actually, I think it's a couple things. I think it's my husband, but I also think it is the course of study that I'm looking at right now. So it's that which is calling me to a higher standard, to really have structure and to like up my game, like really up my game. And so there's these outside influences right now that are calling me to, that are saying like, hey, you need to do it. You need to have a plan. You need to make it happen. And it's like having a cheerleader outside of me say, hey, you need to make it happen. You can make it happen. But you need to do that by really owning your power and stepping up to the plate and being more than I've been in the past. So maybe some of you are feeling that too. I'm going to leave the obstacle for the very end. I always do. My final outcome card is the Emperor. This is actually the Aries card. I have a son in Aries. My son is an Aries, not my S-O-N. My S-U-N is an Aries. So sun in Aries. This is my card. So to me, this is really about, again, creating that plan and being able to make hard choices. And so the best possible outcome with all of this is that I get to this point where I do make that hard choice. I do really stick to the plan. I do really up my game. I do really stand in my personal power and what I believe about myself so that I have this plan and I can execute it in a way that creates something very powerful and stable. It's a 4, so it's really about finding that stability. So what's my obstacle to getting there? That's what I always look at last. Queen of Cups. This is so interesting that this would come up. To me, when I see this Queen of Cups, what I'm thinking here is it's really about getting too caught up in the dreaminess of it all. Like, oh, I have this dream about what I want to create. I have this dream about this choice that I'm making. But when I look at what I'm flanked with right here and even here, this takes a little bit of grit. And I think my biggest obstacle is going to be going off into dreamland about what it means to create this thing that I want and becoming too emotive and too fantasy driven about that. The Queen of Cups can give excellent counsel, but she can also be off on another planet. And I think both of these are very divine masculine energies. And again, requires some grit. So that's my biggest obstacle. So what archetype or energy can I use right now in order to really make all of this happen? And I got the Goddess Incarnate, body positivity. And so I'm actually going to pull this out and read this. One of the things I like about using an oracle in this position is that it's not really open to interpretation as much per se. There's some of that when I think of the Goddess Incarnate and what that means to me. Oh, that's 17, not 12. Then I have my own idea. But when you use an oracle, you're going to get a completely outside message that's maybe not what you already think you know. Like the tarot itself, I've got my own connotations and what I think I know about all of these cards. So that's why I choose a deck that maybe I need a book for. And it says right here, for the Goddess Incarnate, this, again, this is the Wild Woman Oracle, and it's a great book. I just, I'm so in love with Hay House decks lately. I think they're just doing an amazing job. So the little phrase on here is, what is one positive and kind affirmation I can say to my body right now? So the message is, you are being asked to examine your relationship with your body and become more aware of the thoughts and words you direct towards it. You may want to take a break from media consumption, especially social media, to avoid unhealthy comparison and instead remind yourself that you are uniquely beautiful and perfectly imperfect physical manifestation of the goddess. So maybe you have your own interpretation if you were kind of feeling this reading at all for yourself in your life right now. For me, just really honestly, I feel like it's a time for me to really embody myself. And so when I see the Goddess Incarnate, I know that I'm being called to come back to my body and really be present with who I am and what I'm doing, to be conscious about who I am, to be conscious about the plans I'm making and how I'm putting that into action. And I think body positivity, it's my physical body, but it's also my other bodies, like my emotional body, my mental body, to remind myself to come back and to be positive towards that, to speak positively towards myself and towards my life in a way that fosters this kind of determination. And again, like right here, they talked about like being careful about comparing yourself. And I am in the middle of taking a social media break, and I'm going to be continuing in that. I'm cutting social media off a lot because I do not want it influencing my stream of consciousness. I want to be really landing in who I am. And so again, making sure that the opinions that I'm keeping about myself and my thoughts and my ambitions and my dreams, even my physical body, which I'm endeavoring to work on right now, is in a car accident. It's very important to remain positive and to speak positively to ourselves in order to cultivate that within our own spirit. And, I felt like that car accident was a tower moment. It really did change my life a lot. It really made me think a lot about my body and how important it is to me and what I want to be doing with it and what I want to be doing with my life and the body that I'm living in. So this feels right on. If you made it this far, then wow, like you really watched my channel. Let me know what you think about this spread. Again, one more time, this is the Everyday Witch Tarot, and this is the Wild Woman Oracle. Thanks so much for being here. If you like spreads, check out my spreads section. I have a playlist on my channel that will tell you about different spreads. And again, I have that learning library that you can get all sorts of spreads that you can print out and have at your side and the link to that is down below. I will have links to these decks down below as well, but probably most of you know about these decks. Until we meet again, may you find the spread that leads you towards understanding who you are, where you're at, and how you can best embrace this moment.